All right, let's just dive right in. Welcome to today's explainer. We are going to completely demystify a subject that literally drives the modern global economy. And look, whether you're trying to grow a local mom and pop shop, scale a massive multinational startup, or, just upgrade your own professional toolkit, you absolutely need to understand the architecture of the internet's attention economy. So today, we're mastering the fundamentals of digital advertising, specifically looking at the landscape as we head straight into 2026. Now, to really grasp why this matters so much, we have to talk about the sheer mind-boggling scale of the audience. Up to 70% of all internet traffic today comes from mobile devices. Think about that for a second. Your customers, your audience, your future clients, they're all walking around with a 24/7 portal to the digital world right in their pockets. They're spending hours every single day hanging out on social media, reading the news, and actively searching for solutions to their problems. And digital marketing? Well, it puts your message exactly where their eyes already are. But, it wasn't always this complex. Let's rewind just for a second. Back in 1994, AT&T actually launched the internet's very first clickable banner ad. It was just this simple little graphic that said, "You will." And get this, it had an absolutely staggering 44% click-through rate. No way, right? Imagine that. Nearly half the people who saw it actually clicked on it. Today, a successful click-through rate is often just a tiny fraction of 1%. The digital space is incredibly crowded now, and consumers are, frankly, super savvy. You can't just throw up a banner and hope for the best anymore. You need a real system. And that is exactly what we're building today. Here's our quick roadmap for the explainer. First, welcome to digital advertising. Second, traditional versus digital ads. Third, the core advertising channels. Fourth, strategy before tactics. And finally, number 5, the AI advertising future. Let's go ahead and build this blueprint of knowledge step by step. All right, moving into section 2, traditional versus digital ads, the foundation of the digital trail. To really appreciate the power of digital advertising, we first have to understand the fundamental difference between old school traditional media and this modern digital trail. So the absolute crucial point here is how we measure success. Traditional marketing, think of a TV commercial or a massive highway billboard, is fantastic for broad audience reach, but it comes with a major flaw: poor campaign measurement. You might wait months to find out if a magazine ad actually drove any sales. Digital ads, on the other hand, they give you a real-time digital trail. You can track clicks, costs, and conversions literally instantly. If an ad isn't working at 9 a.m., you can just pause it by 9:05 and shift your budget elsewhere. You completely control the costs, and you can pick and choose exactly who you target, right down to super specific interests and demographics.
This actually perfectly illustrates where advertising fits into the broader marketing universe. It's what we call the digital marketing trifecta: earned, owned, and paid media. So earned media is when people just organically talk about you, right? Reviews, viral posts, that sort of thing. Owned media is the stuff you control: your company website, your blogs, your apps. But paid media, that is the engine. That's where you actually buy digital traffic and placements to force growth, like pay-per-click or social ads. For the rest of this explainer, we're going to zoom in strictly on this paid bucket, because honestly, that's where the magic of scalable advertising really happens.
Which brings us to section 3, the core advertising channels, the paid media floor plan. Now that we know we're focusing purely on paid media, we need to break down the specific platforms that actually make up this floor plan. The very first channel is what a lot of industry experts consider the absolute king of them all: search ads. Search engine marketing revolves around the millions of people worldwide who use platforms like Google or Bing every single day. Basically, these are those text-based sponsored advertisements that you see sitting right at the very top of your search engine results whenever you type in a specific keyword related to a business. But let's pause for a second and ask ourselves a really important question. Why are search ads such a critical piece of the digital advertising puzzle? Well, I want you to consider the mindset of someone typing a query like "car rentals near me" into their phone. They aren't just casually browsing, right? They have an immediate problem and they are actively seeking a solution. As our sources point out, this makes search ads highly effective for capturing what we call high-intent users. These are people who are actively looking for exactly what you offer. You're putting your business right in front of a buyer at the exact second they are raising their hand and asking for help. It's not about interrupting someone's day with a random ad. It's about literally being the answer to their question.
Now contrast that high-intent text ad with our second core channel, display ads. These are those visually engaging image or banner advertisements that you see across millions of websites and apps while you're, say, reading a blog or checking the news. While they might not capture that immediate buy now intent of a search ad, they are absolute gold for building broad awareness and keeping brands top of mind. And even better, they're the perfect tactic for retargeting. Say someone visits your website but leaves without buying anything. A display ad can kind of follow them around the web, reminding them of your brand until they're finally ready to make a purchase.
Next up on the floor plan, we have social media ads. These are targeted promotions on platforms like Meta, LinkedIn, or X. And because these social platforms have just, so much granular data on their users, advertisers can get incredibly specific. You can leverage things like tracking pixels on your website to capture exactly what a user looked at, and then use interactive product catalogs to dynamically show them an ad featuring the exact pair of shoes in the exact color that they were just browsing. It is highly personalized marketing done at a massive scale. And wrapping up our core channels, we have video ads. These run primarily on platforms like YouTube, and they leverage engaging, rich media visuals to capture attention in a way that, let's be honest, static text just can't. They allow businesses to tell a dynamic story, actually demonstrate a product in action, and drive really deep user engagement. In an era where attention is literally the most valuable currency, video ads are an absolute powerhouse for keeping viewers locked in.
Okay, moving on to section 4, strategy before tactics, the architecture of marketing. Because here's the thing, you could know all of those advertising channels inside and out, but it really won't matter if you miss this overarching architecture.
There's a really important distinction we need to make here. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right on an ad platform, but you're still just failing to see results, it's highly likely because you have a tactic, but you lack a true strategy. See, setting up a meta ad, clicking the buttons, choosing a budget, uploading a photo, those are just tactics. Strategy, on the other hand, is understanding your target audience's core needs and really knowing their online customer journey. It's mapping out the psychological path that a total stranger takes to become a loyal customer.
And that psychological journey, it's often visualized as a marketing funnel with 4 distinct steps. Step 1, awareness. A consumer just needs to know you actually exist. Step 2, you generate interest. Step 3 is consideration, which is where they start comparing you to your competitors. And finally, step 4, purchase. That's where the actual conversion happens. Understanding this online customer journey is absolutely non-negotiable for any modern digital marketer.
So let's look at how an elite performance marketer actually brings this all together. They don't just guess, they map specific ad types to specific stages of this funnel. To generate brand awareness, they deploy broad display and video ads. To spark that interest, they use engaging social media ads and maybe influencers. To push your user through the consideration phase, they use smart retargeting display campaigns. And to capture that final purchase, they bid on those high-intent search ads. Basically, every single channel has a specific job in driving leads and sales efficiently.
All right, let's head into our final section, number 5, the AI advertising future-proofing for 2026. The digital landscape literally never stops shifting, and as we look toward the tech environment of the near future, the game is changing all over again.
I mean, just look at how incredibly fast we've moved, from the launch of the Archie search engine way back in 1990 to that first AT&T clickable banner ad in '94, right through the absolute explosion of mobile and social targeting in the 2010s. And now, looking at 2026, AI agents and automation are going to totally dominate. We're fully entering a new era. Companies aren't just looking for basic ad skills anymore. They want marketers who understand AI-powered workflows. AI isn't replacing marketers. It's giving them superpowers to automate repetitive tasks and analyze data way faster than we ever could on our own. And this massive evolution brings us to the latest cutting-edge frontier, GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization. See, users aren't just searching traditional search engines anymore. They're actively asking AI chatbots and answer engines for direct solutions. So modern digital strategy means optimizing your content and your digital advertising so that when an AI generates a response for a user, your brand is the one being recommended. It is a huge paradigm shift from traditional SEO. So we've covered the evolution, the core channels, the essential funnel strategy, and this exciting AI-driven future. It's a lot to take in, I know, but it all comes down to taking action. AI is giving digital marketers absolute superpowers. So the question I want to leave you with today is this: how will you leverage AI agents and strategic advertising in your own business blueprint? How will you stop guessing, start looking at the data,